10 million illegal aliens. Let's say that Biden released, I think it's closer to 20 million. Let's say he released 10 million illegal aliens into the country over the last 4 years. What percentage do you think we should let stay here of those 10 million?
I'm not trying to do a game show.
No, but I'm saying, no, but...
If you think that's the best use of...
Well, hold on, but is it your view that if a Democrat president releases 10, 15, 20 million illegals into the country, they all then should get to stay forever and for all of life?
Stephen, I don't have a view about what Democratic presidents do. I'm asking what the Republican president
does for and how so you don't want to answer the question because you know the answer is obvious. Everyone that Biden let in has to go home. Of course. I mean, it's a crazy thing to even ask. You think we should give administrative amnesty to some subset of the illegals that Biden... Here's how we're prioritizing it. ICE is going to continue to focus on raids against high-threat criminal aliens. We're going to use the entire force and power of the federal government to get them all home. Many will choose also to leave voluntarily and take advantage of the CBP Home app. But we are not going to ask taxpayers to subsidize the presence of a single illegal alien in this country.
Is the president going to ask for him to be returned to the United States or not? Like, yes or no?
Let me ask you, what do you think would happen to him if he came back to this country? As your understanding of immigration laws, what do you think would happen?
But I'm just asking at this point about whether
you're asking a lot of questions.
The president,
you were all asking a lot of questions about this, and you all seem to care about it a lot. So let's see if any of you who've researched anything about this issue at all. Can anyone here tell me what would happen to the illegal alien from El Salvador if he came back to the United States? Does anyone here know? Anyone want to guess? Any of you?
He could be with his family.
Do you know the difference between a deportation order and a withholding order? Do you know the difference? Any of you, please. Do you?
Well, we're not in the government.
But you couldn't even spend 72 hours over the weekend learning the distinction, even you've been writing and talking about it this whole time. What I'm getting from this conversation, which is educational for me, is that not one person in the media knows the difference between a deportation order and a withholding order. Is that a fair statement? You're learning about this all for the first time right now? I guess so. Okay. So the deportation order means the judge has said he must be deported from the country. He has no right to remain here any longer. He must be removed from the country. So his only options are to be deported to his home country or another country. That's it. There's no other option. He doesn't get to stay here. He doesn't get to live here. He has no future here. He has no right to be here. He's an illegal alien. So when you keep saying return, because you've been spun up by the open borders advocates, you all seem to be operating under the illusion that he would be able to come to the United States and just continue to live here illegally. That's not an option available to him. His only choices in life are to live in El Salvador or to live in another country. That's it. There's no other option, legally or otherwise, because he came to our country illegally. Do you understand that? He would be arrested. Okay. He'd be put in confinement. He would be deported the second time to El Salvador again, because there's no withholding order for an alien who's a member of a foreign terrorist organization, number one. Number two is the gang that he's a member of doesn't exist in El Salvador anymore. So what you're asking for is to be deported twice. But additionally, if we chose to just pretend that the withholding order was real, he would be deported to a different country. So, for example, he could be deported to Egypt. So I'm just trying to understand, is it your view, in other words, you define a country that would be willing to take a MS-13 member from El Salvador. So I'm trying to understand from you all is, so if he came back and under our laws, he was then deported to Egypt or to Somalia, would you then be saying, great, I'm so glad that you deported him to another country? Is that what you'd all be saying? So look, you've cataloged the horrors that have been inflicted. The rapes, the beatings, the murders, the fentanyl deaths by the hundreds of thousands, the destruction of entire neighborhoods in this country because of the Democrat Party's policy of open borders these last 4 years. You mentioned the threat of international terrorism that is on our shores, the millions of gotaways who entered under the previous administration, on top of the millions more unvetted that were caught and released into the country, and the millions more that were allowed to either fly into the country or overstay their visas. It is a clear and present danger to the national security of this country, and we have federal judges telling President Trump that he can't deport these threats from our communities? This is the choice facing every American. Either we all side and get behind President Trump to remove these terrorists from our communities, or we let a rogue, radical left judiciary shut down the machinery of our national security apparatus. President Trump is going to see this through to his conclusion, and we will find and remove every terrorist from this country, and President Trump will make this nation safer than ever before, and he'll do it over the fighting and opposition of the Democrat Party, over the fighting and opposition of the communist left-wing judges, over the fighting and opposition of the far-left federal bureaucracy. He will not be deterred, Sean. He will see this through, I promise you.
You're tempting me to say some very harsh things about some of our media friends. Yes, it is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation, right? Judges are appointed, members of Congress are elected at the district or state level, which is one man. And the Constitution, Article 2, has a clause known as the vesting clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president, singular. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for.
Welcome to with me, JJ Carrell, and Truth with JJ Carrell. Why I played that? Because I love that dude. I have admired this man for when people didn't even really know him. He was chastised and written about by major news organizations, major socialist TV stations like Univision, Telemundo, when he was in high school. High school. He talked just like this in high school. He was this bold in high school. And I remember reading his writings, listening to him speak, even as a young man, all the way up to present day. And I was always like, okay, that is someone that you need to pattern yourself after when you speak. Be extremely articulate, be extremely knowledgeable and researched, and have the data, have the definitions of certain topics right at the tip of your tongue and be able to rattle them off, because the left, and included the establishment Republicans as well, their kryptonite is the truth. Their kryptonite is fact, statistics, true definitions. Their kryptonite is anything that sheds light on their corruption. And why I like Stephen Miller so much is that he speaks boldly. He doesn't hide behind what he believes. He articulates it perfectly, why he believes what he believes, and he's unafraid. Listen, he does something that I find interesting. If you go back and you listen to those 4 clips, on 1 or 2 of them, he actually talks to the reporters. And when you listen to what the reporters say back to them, you realize the people that are reporting on the White House, the people that are writing these articles, are dumb as stumps. They're just dumb. They have no idea what they're talking about. None. It's like when I went and testified in front of Congress, I'm looking at the Republican side and the left side, Democrats. Both parties had no idea. They had no idea what we were doing, what we were talking about. None. Zero. We could have been talking about quantum physics for all these morons knew. They had no idea. None. No true understanding of the topic we were discussing. Same thing with these reporters. And Stephen Miller is that mouthpiece of Donald Trump that just comes right after your jugular and just tells you you're stupid. You have no understanding of what's going on. How ashamed you must be to be this ignorant. We are past the civil discussion. Those are over. Now, let me be clear. I'm going to be civil in my life. But when I'm having discussions about very important things in this setting, or a setting where I'm given testimony or I have to give an interview, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to shoot you between the eyes with the truth. Let me give you an example. I have a literal Vietnam war hero lives next door to me. Silver Star, shot in battle, hero, super, super nice man. Old gentleman in his 80s. Cuts his grass. I go over there and I'm like, hey, buddy, can I help you? No, he's just always nice and coming over and talking and just a great guy. Democrat. Do you think I'm going to go over there and browbeat him about politics? No, I'm going to be civil, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be nice. Now, if my neighbor from across the street or this one starts hounding me about my beliefs, yeah, then I'm just going to tell him what I believe. But I'm not going to, that's where I'm saying that civility is lost in America. There's a place and time for it. In a grocery store, in a parking lot, doing business. I don't care about your politics. I just want to hold the door for you. I don't care if you're BLM or Antifa. I don't care. Holding the door for you. Come on in. But when I'm in this setting, and when we have politicians in this world, we are in a fight for the soul of America. If I'm walking down the street and a Black Lives Matter Antifa person approaches me and starts yelling at me, I'm going to cave their skull in. Civility's gone. It is an absolute threat to my safety. Therefore, there is no civility. It's only hardcore violence until I get that individual to submit, because that's how I'm trained. That's it. I'm not punching you once and hoping and talking we'll be buddies. No, I'm going to punch you until you submit physically, either pass out or you yell, give up, and throw your hands up. That's it. That's the only way that I know how to fight, because that's the only way I've been trained. And that's the only experiences I have. So I'm going to fall back on it. Civility is gone in America because the left are violent. The left are evil. I'm going to show you some videos later in this episode. And I'm going to show you that the conservative Christian mindset is the wrong mindset to have in this war. It just is. We're soft. We've been lied to about Christianity and forgiveness, and we've all just become an impotent, cowardly mess of America. That's just the truth. Violence is reigning supreme on our streets. I don't fear for me or my family, because I'm going to take care of me and my family. I look at other people, other families, and I'm like, whoa, man, things go sideways. You and your family are going to have a rough go of it. Not my family. Your family will. Look at you. The title of my episode today is We've Got to Get Tougher. And we have to get tougher. Physically, mentally, and spiritually tougher. Not just being able to be physically violent and be able to combat the mental patients, the savages, the violent extremists in our government, and activists and people that are in our communities. Yes. But you have to be spiritually sharp and strong to know what your moral rights are and then act without hesitation. You need to be intellectually strong to be able to have these conversations and be able to tell these people exactly what you believe and why you believe it. But when you do it, you better be ready for some physical altercation. And the days of you remaining silent because of fear, because you don't want to upset anybody, those days are gone. they're going to inflict violence on you no matter what. And if you remain silent and they pass over you, well, you're just guilty anyway because you're a coward. America, our nation, needs American heroes. I want you to stop for a second and think, who would fit the role of heroes in America today? People with 17 different shades of colors in their hair, multiple piercings, morbidly obese, yelling incoherently, thinking they're a man, thinking they're a woman. Men are trying to put tampons in certain parts of their body. That is not the hero that we need. They are the villains. The heroes are our law enforcement, our firefighters, our construction workers, our truck drivers, the men that are trying to, and women that are trying to right this ship called America. You need to pick a side, and you need to pick wisely, as if your life depends on it, because your life does depend on it. Our sponsor, one of our sponsors that I trust, Shop Bella Grace, or just bellagrace.com. But you can support us by going shopbellagrace.com/truth. shopbellagrace.com/truth. I love their products. I use them. I'm in the very end of my 30-day trial of the elixir, and it works. I swear by it. I just want to show you these two commercials. If Caleb has them ready, I'm going to show them.
Elevate your skin's natural radiance with the Bella Grace Dewy Serum, your go-to for smooth, hydrating, and glowy skin. Infused with nourishing ingredients, it provides deep hydration, a soft texture, and a luminous, dewy finish. Like, come on, look at that. Whether you're at home, on the go, or heading to practice like me, Bella Grace Dewy Serum fits seamlessly into your daily routine. Glow from within all day long. Bella Grace Dewy Serum. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth. Start your day with the glow that comes from within. Introducing Bella Grace Elixir, a beauty secret that nurtures your skin from the inside out. Packed with natural ingredients, Bella Grace helps collagen production, reduce fine lines, and restore your youthful glow. And the best part, Bella Grace is perfect for your busy life. Take it with you on the go wherever you go. Bella Grace Elixir, discover the secret to timeless beauty. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth.
shopbellagrace.com/truth. Shop Bella Grace. I use it. Brandon House, his wife, use it. We swear by it. I swear by it. Support the people and companies that support us. We talked about this topic. Gosh, my days run by, right? I can't believe we're on episode 127. I can't believe I've been with Brandon House Worldview Tube for 127 episodes. And I appreciate you coming on and listening, because I'm here in my studio and sometimes I think, is anybody listening? And then I meet people and they're like, I watch you every night. And I watch you as I do my treadmill, do my exercise. I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome. I want to say that we talked about this, I would say within the last month, but I want to revisit it because Donald Trump signed an executive order yesterday. And the executive order was truckers, 18-wheelers, short haul and long haul, have to be able to read and write and speak, or just, read and speak English. At first, I was like, hell yeah, finally. Then a part of me, a rational part of me says, my gosh, think of how far our nation has fallen, that the Democrats have positioned us and the Republicans, through their gutlessness, allowed the Democrats or partnered with them or colluded with them to allow this to happen, that people that drive our trucks, this is a skill. You need to know how to read signs. You need to know what policy and law is. You need to understand what your restrictions are and what you're allowed, you can and can't do. That we've gone so far down this long road of misery that we have to have an executive order that the people that drive these killing machines, when they get in an accident, it's not like, okay, we get a fender bender. We're talking, they're rolling up and crushing your car. They're turning sideways and turning their loads over on 4 or 5 cars, killing everyone in them. That we have to have a president sign an executive order saying they have to speak English, and the left still won't support it. Well, that's racist. I wonder if you could go get a CDL in Mexico without speaking Spanish. I wonder if you can go get a CDL in Russia without speaking Russian. I wonder if you can do that in China and Japan. I wonder if you can do it in Egypt. Of course, the answer is no. The only stupid people are the Western nations that hate each other. There is a self-hatred in the Western civilization that no one really talks about. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. There is this hatred that we are white nations, Christian white nations that have succeeded beyond what all other nations have ever been able to do. India, 4,000 or 5,000 years old. Section of they don't have running water, electricity. They live in squalor. There's millions of people dying every day and just laid on the street. There's pollution and cesspool crap everywhere. It's a nation of chaos and calamity. China, 4,000 or 5,000 years, have no rights, suppressed out of their mind. And look at the West. Beautiful art. America, 250 years old-ish. Highest standard of living, highest everything. You think maybe we could just take a moment and say, we should be proud of who we are. Diversity is not our strength. That is a lie. It's always been a lie. What makes America great is because we are all Americans. But because of the people that hate America, they have divided us on race, religion, ethnicity, and sex. To now we are a diverse culture with multiple languages. We don't have any continuity. We are at each other's throats, and there is no trust. That, my friends, is diversity. That is true diversity. But the Western world, Western Europe, Canada, America, we have a self-loathing problem combined with a coward problem, meaning we get bombarded that we're bad, you're bad, white patriarchy, white people suck, and we don't have the courage to go, shut up and go pound sand. Shut up. You know what you should do? Why don't you just say thank you? Why don't we just say thank you for the running water and electricity? Instead, you're bad. And we've allowed this to happen because we have been browbeaten, and if you say anything back, you're a racist. If you don't agree with having 180 plus nations pour into our country the last 4 years, and you don't want to speak Arabic, and you don't want to speak Chinese, you don't want to speak Spanish, and you don't want to speak whatever, and I don't want to have Hamas and Hezbollah protest about killing the Jews and hating America. I don't want that. Well, you're a bigot, JJ. And what has happened from my father's generation all the way to present day, the people, mainly the white Americans, have sat here and said nothing. Oh, please don't call me racist. Please, I'm not proud of being white. Being white's horrible. We're the devil. No, not playing that game. Never played it. Don't care. I'm not apologizing to you for the color of my skin. Are you insane? In fact, I'm going to champion what whites have done. Why not? You champion everything you do. I'm supposed to sit here quiet and act as if I had no role in any of this success in America, that diversity is our strength. That's the problem with America, and the West in particular, is we're so gutless. We're so cowardly that we're afraid to be called all those vile names, a bigot, a white nationalist, a Klansman, a Nazi. What does those things even mean anymore? They've been so watered down, who gives a crap? Call me whatever you want. I know who I am and what I am. English for truckers. Can you believe that we're having to do an executive order for this? Let's listen to the press secretary come out and talk about this executive order. And then I'm going to show you a few things, a few accidents, and they're shocking. Shocking.
And then the third executive order, which actually speaks to the heart of your question earlier about the Uber drivers, will be a order directing the Department of Transportation to include English literacy tests for our truckers. This is a big problem in the trucking community that, unless you're in that community, you might not know. But there's a lot of communication problems between truckers on the road, with federal officials and local officials as well, which obviously is a public safety risk. So we're going to ensure that our truckers, who are the backbone of our economy, are all able to speak English. That's a very common sense policy in the United States of America. So the president will be signing that later this afternoon.
Common sense policy. Could anybody really argue against this? I mean, this is just. I want people that are doing long haul and short haul, carrying tons of goods and products in a gigantic moving machine. I want them to be able to understand what a stop sign says, or a highway sign telling them they need to pull over and not use this road or go under this bridge. Well, of course, there are people that instantly said it's racist. Let's listen to this, and it's always, let's just call it as it is. The vast majority of the problem are white women. It's true. Thus, the label of Karen. The mentally insane white women, the liberal white women. They're insane. They're absolutely insane. And I'm going to give you case in point right here. Somebody that thinks that this is a bad idea. Let's listen to why she thinks this is a bad idea.
In more ridiculous news coming out of the United States, Donald Trump has put out yet another racist executive order. This time, it's requiring that all truck drivers, all commercial truck drivers in the United States speak English. So, if you're going to drive a truck in the US, you now have to speak English. I'm not yet sure how this is going to be enforced. I'm still unclear as to why this is so important to him, other than in his continued pursuit of making English the only official language in the US. Because that makes a lot of sense, right? I know many of us are not surprised by this anymore, but here we are.
Yep, here we are. Well, let's dive into, I don't understand why English needs to be spoken for being a trucker. Well, I love to answer these people's questions, especially very, very unattractive Karens. Love it, love it. Well, here's one. This is what happens when you drive an 18-wheeler and you don't speak English and you don't know how to really drive, because we need to have diversity in our truckers. Go ahead and play this one. You'll like this. Wait till you see this disaster.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਮਿਹਰ ਕਰਿਓ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਿਹਰ ਕਰਿਓ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਇਹ ਵੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੁਣ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੌਣ ਹੈਗਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀਰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਬਰਾ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਟਰੱਕ ਇਹ ਵੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਡਰਾਈਵਰ ਵੀਰ
Fuel and everything coming out. We go north of that white vehicle.
4 ਟਰੱਕ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ 3 ਕਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਚੁੱਕੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਓ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਫਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਆਨਰ ਇਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਇਹ ਦੇਖੋ ਉਹ ਅਗਲੇ ਟਰੱਕ ਤੱਕ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਟਰੱਕ ਸਾਰਾ ਇਹ ਵੇਖੋ ਉਹ ਵੇਖੋ मैं अपना ट्रक बहुत मुश्किल में बचाया बहुत मुश्किल में अपना ट्रक बचाया वाहिगुरू से मेरे
I need to go north of that white vehicle.
ओके
I really don't have any authority to ask anybody north of here.
ओके ये देखो
Don't understand yet why someone needs to be able to speak English, sweetheart? I counted at least just in the truck itself, not what they're hauling, but just the truck itself, easily $1 million, $1.5 million in damage. Those 18-wheel, they're not cheap. Sleeper cabs, no. $1.5 million. There's some fatalities in that, absolute fatalities in that. Why do we need English speakers driving our trucks? I don't know, Karen, with the red hair that's just got washed and no makeup and pontificating and insulting me because I'm a racist, because I want people to speak English and that English is the official language of America. Well, of course I want that, sweetheart. You intellectual midget. How am I supposed to do commerce? How am I supposed to have cohesion? How am I supposed to have national unity? How am I supposed to have anything that resembles a country when I can't speak to people in my country? Here's another video. And let's see what this person did to more Americans because they have no idea how to drive their truck or speak English. But trust me, diversity is worth it because it's our strength.
Which is great. You okay? For sure. Yeah. I was coming this way and I see the whole thing. It's crazy. You tried to swerve. Yeah, but couldn't. Wow. Oh, yeah.
Guy had no idea what he was talking to someone that can't speak English at all. Can't speak English at all. We don't need people that speak English. Do we need train engineers and train conductors to be able to speak English? That's the next thing. What about pilots? Pilots need to speak English. These things, these 18-wheelers are rolling down the highway 70, 80 miles an hour, depending on where they're at, carrying tons of weight. There's no just stopping an 18-wheeler. Do you see that the absurdity of that Karen and people like her is they're so grotesquely stupid that they don't even understand the level of stupidity they're at. They have no ability to critically think. Why would any country expect people that are in their country to speak their language? This next video has some bad language in it. But I want you to hear it. It's a non-speaking person that had a massive 18-wheeler catastrophe, 17 vehicles in this pileup. 5 people died, to include a child and a baby, an infant. This is why you red-headed, disgusting piece of trash Karen, this is why you want people that are competent, that speak English, that understand road signs, because if you don't, you get this. Please show this, Caleb.
It's him. It's you, bro? The fuck, man? What? What happened?
When I'm coming and somebody is left you and I put here. So.
But the traffic was there, bro. Like, there's no way you should have been. I'm a trucker myself, bro. Yeah. You're not supposed to. You were going too fast. You know, there's 2 people dead over there, and possibly 2 more, possibly 4. They're dead.
Dead?
They're dead.
Dead?
Yes, dead.
Oh my goodness.
They're fucking dead, bro. Because of your stupid ass shit. 2 of them are fucking dead, bro. And I don't know about the rest.
Huh?
I don't know about the rest. But 2 for sure. 2 for sure.
Okay, when I'm calling.
Who are you calling?
I'm calling.
Bro, they finna lock your ass up.
Huh?
They finna lock your ass up. They're gonna lock you up.
I'm lucky?
They're gonna lock you up. Lock you up. Put you in handcuffs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're gonna lock you up. That's manslaughter, bro. They're fucking dead. Subhanallah.
You don't see a problem with that? That guy's wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Can't speak English. Are you telling me he passed the CDL? He went to a school to learn how to drive an 18-wheeler. Are you really going to push that on me? Are you really going to try to convince me that person that is so grossly inarticulate, so grossly stupid, can't speak English, has no ability to understand even what's going on, that person passed his CDL training license to get his license? Are you really going to try to have that discussion with me and argue with me? Look at the world we live in, America. Look at what's happened to our country. Do you know that I could have played at least another 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 of these? This is a massive, massive problem in America. So much so that President Trump had to sign an executive order. He had to sign an executive order. That's how bad this is. This is a massive, massive problem that no one wants to talk about. But the leftists, the Karens, particularly the white liberal Karens, they're the problem. Malcolm X, who I think I'm going to start doing deep dives into him, reading his biographies and reading people writing on him. He was right on many, 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 many things. And one of the things that Malcolm X said was the greatest enemy of the black population, the black American, was the liberal white. Absolutely. And if he was alive today, he would go one step further and say it's the white liberal women. And he'll even go farther. The white liberal soccer moms, the 40-ish to 50-ish, late 30s to the early 50s. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I started this episode, I said we've got to get tougher. Now I'm going to show you why you are going to have to get tougher. Because the left wants you to have massive violence. Massive violence. But before I do, I want to talk about my sponsor for this part of the show, sat123.com. sat123.com/JJ. Don't tell me I don't need a sat phone. When's that really going to happen when the cell towers go down? Well, what happened yesterday in Spain, Portugal, and I think France, but mainly in Spain and Portugal? The entire nation lost all electrical services, all cell towers, all circuits, everything dead. Came to a standstill. The trains stopped. They had to stop in the middle of nowhere. People had to get out because there's nothing driving, no electricity. Cars were slowly driving around because no stoplights. Complete darkness, complete and utter connectability darkness for those nations. That was yesterday. I don't even know if they're back on right now. You need a cell phone. You need a sat phone. Absolutely, you need a sat phone. I'm going to tell you the truth. Over 200,000 Chinese nationals have poured into America in the last 4 years under Joe Biden. There has been identified at least 100,000 PLA soldiers. Where are they going to attack? Where do you think? And if you follow this at all, you know that we have had massive attacks on our infrastructure already. So when they come and they attack, they will attack our infrastructure, our water infrastructure, our electrical grids, our cell towers, everything that will bring us to our knees. And like Chris says from Sat123, if you can look up and see the sky, then your sat phone will work. It's called being prepared. Sat123.com/JG. Get your sat phone. You get a $3,000-$6,000 sat phone for free with the service, which is, I think, $99 a month, $95 a month. Less than $100 a month gives you absolute certainty that you are going to have communication. That's worth it. That's being prepared. Now, what do you also need to be prepared for? Violence. Violence. It's all around us. We see it. The left is encouraging. I have a compilation of them telling us, get ready. They're telling you, be prepared for violence. You need to start to listen to what these people say and believe that they're going to follow through, because history has proven they are. They will follow through, and they are following through. And let's start with Nancy Pelosi, that bag of skin, who I can't stand. Go ahead, Caleb.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Believe them? Every single day, they attack us. They violate our freedoms of speech. They violate our space. They physically attack us, and we do nothing. Let me just show you a mental patient. Let me show you how racist they would. Can you imagine this next video I'm going to show you if the races and the political views were different? Watch this. And I want you, when you watch this, I want you again, just again, please, look at how ugly, physically ugly the left is. And I'm not talking about just the physical, the physicality of them. It's not about that. There are people that are on our side that are so filled with joy and happiness, and they're physically not what you would say, oh, wow, that's a really beautiful woman. But at the same time, you meet them and you're like, wow, that is a really beautiful woman. She is really kind. Wow, I really enjoy being around her. And there is a pull to that person, right? Because they're so wonderful. These people are so grotesquely evil that it manifests in a physical ugliness that is unbelievable. So when you watch this short video, I want you to just stop for a second and look at how physically ugly they are, because they're evil from the inside out.
You have your own opinion. Just because. Hey.
Don't do that.
That's just disrespectful.
You should not have done that.
You can't be a mole for them, bro.
Unbelievable. Again, just like the truckers, I could go literally for hours. Excuse me. Let me be very clear. I could go for days showing you one video clip after another. One after another. This guy, he's my son's favorite. My son loves this guy named Bo Diddle. Loves him. He just goes and asks questions. But I want you also to, this is a two-parter. I want you to see Bo Diddle get assaulted by a trans man, aka a mental patient. But I want you also to watch how slow the police are to react. And to understand that when I say you need to be prepared because the police are not going to be able to help you. Because you don't know what type of police are around you. Is it really old, fat, do-nothing cops? Or guys that were built like me that would react and take charge of situations? You don't know. And then if they're not there, you got a long wait for someone to come. So you have to take care of business yourself. Watch this.
Person says, look, a woman. Right? He does not accept excuse me. The sexualization of children will always be wrong. It will always be evil. Come here.
Oh, we can't leave her.
Everyone's on video. I just got freaking socked. Don't let her go, or him go. Go! Where's he going? Where's he going? I'm about to have to get her again. Where's he going? Get her. Get her. Get her. Get her. Get her up. Stop. What are you doing? Stop. What? He's touching me. He hit me. He hit me.
God, you understand me? Put her in hurry. Put your hands on that again.
They're letting her go.
Listen to me.
They're letting her go.
They have her right there, okay?
Hey, now
they have her right there. You got it?
Now
Relax. Relax.
I just got shocked in
I
the
understand.
face.
She's right there, okay? You gonna press charges?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
It's all on video.
It's all on video, yeah.
You see how they just kind of walk. So if that dude in a dress took off, he's gone. Because you cops are lazy. Look, man, you have guys like me, former law enforcement guys or current law enforcement. We just are just disgusted sometimes with police. Just disgusted. Can you do something? Could you just get in the ball game, please, officers? Please. You need to be ready. You need to be ready because you don't know. This is a high-profile video that happened in New York, I believe. Beautiful young lady talking to another lady about abortion, and the lady doesn't like the discussion. So instead of just walking away, she brutally attacks this woman. Watch this.
I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Stop filming.
What's wrong with you?
Stop filming. Stop my.
You have a.
Oh my god.
She just punched me in the face. We were just doing a street interview with my camera and everything was fine for over 20 minutes or however long we were filming, and then she just punched me in the face. Oh my god.
That's the world. That is the current situation in America. Why? It's very simple. Because we don't do anything about it. We never fight back. There's no consequences. These are people that have severe mental issues. And then coupled with those severe mental issues, they know that nothing is going to happen to them. Even if they get, quote, arrested, they'll get bonded out, bailed out with no bail. Then the liberal judge will give them some kind of community service and it's all done. So the risk versus the reward is low. The reward is high. I get to punch a conservative in the face and make him bleed. Okay, I'll do that. Little inconvenience. I go down, get a mugshot, have a misdemeanor. Who cares? This will not stop until people that are on the street fight back with everything they have. When they meet violence with the violence and goes one step over. Don't give me Gandhi. Don't talk to me about Jesus, turn the other cheek. Don't tell me all your insane garbage. Don't talk to me about your limp-wristed, impotent, cowardly Christian views. Don't want to hear it. You have another religion called Islam that their prophet is telling them to slaughter us Christians, and they are. Why? Because our Christian faith the leaders have lied to us since the inception of Christ coming to earth and then dying and rising to his rightful place with his Father in heaven, have lied to us to be a bunch of coward little babies. It's true. Jesus was a hippie freak. Jesus just kind of talked about the 10 suggestions. There's no hell. You can do whatever you want to do. Everything's fine. I don't subscribe to that. God built me very differently than these people that I'm showing you. Somebody hits me, I am going to inflict pain on you. You are going to be begging me for mercy, and I probably will not give you any. But, and this is the big but, the savages that are walking the street, they can sense that on me, just like I can sense who the savages are. We know each other. And they know You can't walk up and punch me. And if you do, you better kill me. And until the men in America get that type of warrior mentality, nothing's going to change. It's going to keep going on. You want to talk about mental patience? I'm going to show you one here in just a second. But you must be prepared to be ready for this war. How you do that? One way is you're healthy. You are physically healthy. How do you do that? You have Patriots Made, you have the elixir from Bella Grace, and you have Pet Club 24/7. A proprietary mushroom from Japan in a capsule form and a balm and lotions for your pets. This is how you get healthy. You get healthy from the inside out. That's Pet Club 24/7. Truth with JJ247.com. Caleb, do you have that commercial ready to go? If you can play that, that'd be great.
There's nothing we wouldn't do for our pets. They're like our children. Our friends at Pet Club 24/7 have developed natural products that contain the most potent strain of a mushroom that's been used for thousands of years to help support the immune system. So visit their website today to discover how they're changing the way that pets and their parents are being treated for the better.
Pet Club 24/7, Truth with JJ247.com. Here's what I want to show you next. Is true insanity. I want you to understand, because we get in this world where we believe the enemy is supernatural. They're huge, they're powerful, they're smart, they're physically can beat us. No, it's all a lie. And I'm going to give you Exhibit A. Go ahead and play this, please.
Abortion is anything. If I had a cyst on my uterus, that would be considered an abortion. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Look at, okay, anything that is evolving the uterus.
Well, no, in order for it to be an abortion, it must be a human life.
No. Anything that
Yes.
is evolving the uterus and you have to get rid of it, it is considered abortion.
No.
Abortion has been a big thing for
yeah.
a long time, and it affects people,
So-
and it hurts people.
So as murder and slavery and child sacrifice, there's
That is
been
completely different.
Again, this is the other side. Stop being afraid. Start being bold. Start being aggressive in your views. Why? Because these people are morons. This last one, I'm going to show you this just so you understand the intellectual deficiency the left has. Go ahead and play this just for a minute.
How are you out here today to the Bernie Sanders rally?
I don't like what's going on in our country right now. I'm just kind of disgusted by it.
What's the biggest risk?
Oh, gosh. What would you say, Dan? Well, I'll let you speak to that.
I don't know. I don't really care for the language that's being spoken right now in the country.
Can you give any examples of specific language?
Let me think about that.
So many things, I don't even know where to start. I would say, oh gosh, Dan, help. This is... Yeah.
What's changed over the last couple months post-Biden administration for you guys?
Oh gosh. Once again, where do we start? You want to... Okay, you go for this one.
Just a whole list of things I can't think of right now.
They're dumb. They're dumb. They're physically weak. However, they have a determination to fight. I will give them that. But they are so grotesquely dumb, so grotesquely spiritually inferior, physically inferior. Stop being afraid. Be courageous. Be bold. Fight. Just like Donald Trump said, fight. Why don't we just fight back?
You are watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Welcome to Technocracy News with Patrick Wood. I'm your co-host, Logan House. Today we're going to be going over
Real ID. Ron Paul gets authoritarianism, misses technocracy. Then we will be going over the technocracy's necessary requirements. And we have a few more articles to get to when we get going here. Patrick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. We need to talk about this because this is a big thing. The real ID. This has been sneaking up on us all these years since 2005 when it first was introduced, and it said, "Oh, the states can take care of that. You know, they can make their own voluntary system, et cetera, et cetera." And everybody, oh yeah, okay, we'll pass on that. And so here it is, 20 years later. It's been passed into law several years ago, but is taking effect now. So the idea was that all the states could implement this with their driver's license. This is kind of a backdoor approach to a national ID, right? Because every state has a driver's license. And at this point, anybody can get one, apparently. In most cases, you don't even have to be a citizen. You can get an ID, a real ID. It'll get you on an airplane, for instance. It doesn't do anything for speeding tickets, for sure. But this is in lieu of you having a passport to travel. And this is what is forcing the issue right now. And unfortunately, our new DHS director Noam has just decided, well, we're going to enforce this now.
Yeah,
this is a purely technocratic initiative from the get-go, and so this article, in any case, this Ron Paul is rightly calling the shots here. It really is setting us up for authoritarianism. It really is, but he doesn't understand technocracy. Would that he did. He would be screaming it from the rooftops at this point, because this is so much larger than just real ID and just about identification of you. Everything that technocracy proposed in the first place. We're going to look at this article that I wrote some time ago about the necessary requirements of technocracy. They were crowing about this back in the 1930s. They had to have some way to identify everybody in society so they could attach all the information about those people to a master file that can then be manipulated electronically to make decisions on classes of people, individual people, etc. And this has come full circle now.
Yeah.
This is obvious at this point.
And this is, the Real ID is going to make it a lot easier to transition into a digital ID in the future, which then they can tie in. Go ahead.
Yeah, this already does that. We don't need to do anything further than this at this point, because all of the biometric data is already embedded in the system with your card. That was the requirement to get the ID in the first place. First, a driver's license. You're supposed to give two pieces of information that say where you live, number one, and you have to have either fingerprints or your face scanned, number two. Some states are doing iris as well. So this is your illegal identity as well as your official, like your number. Mm-hmm. And everything at this point is they made sure that all the states had the uniform standards in place to make this whole thing work. So every state, whenever you see the star, I'm going to cover my license here. Whenever you see this star up here, on your license. That means you have a real ID. And you are validated in the system at this point, because you've provided that type of identification to prove that you're really you. And they want to know where you live as well. That's an important part of this whole thing. They have to find you, right?
Yeah.
So this is a backdoor approach to this. The feds could have come out in the beginning and said, well, we're just going to have a national ID, and here you go. We'll tie it to your social security number or something. We'll extend that number or whatever. We'll give you an ID, but that's not sufficient at this point because
they basically nationalized the state IDs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, the federal system is so sloppy at this point. How many people are getting, for instance, Social Security benefits that don't really have the right to a Social Security number? How many people are using false Social Security numbers to get benefits from the government? They don't know. They have no clue on. Well, they do in some cases, obviously, but there's so much fraud and so much misidentification that is basically useless for a national system. But they've shoved it through the states, where the states have to go out and find out, well, where does this guy live? Okay, you can't get an Arizona license, for instance, unless you show them 2 pieces of mail that has your house address on it. And when they take your picture, it's already being scanned at that point and entered into your biometric information. In some cases, you get fingerprints included as well. And some states are including like iris identification. So what the states are doing, the feds could never do in the first place. Mm-hmm. They could not. I don't think they ever could have done it. People would have rebelled. Imagine the feds saying everybody needs in America that everybody needs to submit within 30 days to an iris scan, and you need to prove where you live. How would that fly?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it would not. There'd be a national rebellion at that point. But they took the backdoor approach and let the states do it, and here we are. All of a sudden, everybody. Well, at least I think 5 years ago, when this law was passed, they said, "Well, we're gonna do it, but it's gonna take 5 years to get everybody in line." Right? Mm-hmm. Basically, get all the states time to adapt to this. Well, guess what? They've all done it now.
Yep.
This is the point.
And the cutoff is supposedly coming up here in like a week, or you won't be able to fly without one, supposedly, unless you have a passport.
Exactly right. And of course, a passport IDs you as well. You have to have identification. You can't get a passport just because you say you're somebody.
Yeah.
You have to prove it, right? So it becomes like a legal identity for you. And there's no other passport for you in the world other than the one you hold in your hand. It's just the same thing as the real ID.
Yeah.
So I know. So at this point, the mechanism of technocracy is closing around us. That's the point.
And what you're basing that off of is the necessary requirements. And I believe you're pointing what you're going to go to is number 5, correct?
Exactly. Well, number 4 as well.
Number 4.
Well, okay. There were only 7 requirements listed to make technocracy work in the 1930s. This was written in 1933. Number 4, provide a specific registration of the type, kind, etc. of all goods and services where produced and where used. Okay, yeah. You have to have you don't know where it's being used. Then you have number 5, provide specific registration of the consumption of each individual, plus a record of and description of the individual. Give me a break. This has been on the books ever since 1934. This is an absolute requirement for implementing technocracy. And why people can't get this at this point, I just can't understand. I really don't understand how people cannot put the dots together here. This is going to be the final thing that they need to deal with. And globally, we know that there's a global initiative to have a global ID. Mm-hmm. But as far as we're concerned, in America, all 350 million people in our country are going to be flying and doing whatever with these state-issued licenses, all of which have the star now. And if you don't have that, you're not going to fly. But that's not all. You won't when it rolls over to, for instance, other public transportation, like getting on a train, a bus, whatever. If you don't have that star, you're not going to travel at all.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they'll probably phase out normal IDs altogether, and anything that you would need an ID for, that you would need the star for.
Well, exactly. And think about if you want to rent a car, for instance.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have the star, we don't know who you are.
I mean, if they can limit it, if they can stop you from flying, then they can stop you from doing just about anything. You know. You're
right. You're right. And so now roll over on top of that, the business of the vaccine passport. I know we're on a break right now. Let's go to the break and then we'll come back.
Yep, we'll be right back here in just a moment.
True beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisol collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.